Senbet Salam. Senbet Salam. Senbet Salam. Senbet Salam. Sabbath peace. Sabbath safety. Senbet peace. Rest safely. Rest. The true rest and peace is in Christos and in Him. Salam.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom, Senbet Salam. Here. 17th sabbatical study. Shabbat Yitro. Shabbat Shalom, Senbet Salam. Chabarim.
Come with it. Oh, come in the area. Let's Oh, you tell them fire. אני הייתי שרסטמן ואין בי פחד. כולם לשיר איתי ביחד. אני הייתי שרסטמן ואין בי פחד. כולם לשיר איתי ביחד. הייתי שרסטמן בוי 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 בוי. הייתי שרסטמן בוי 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 בוי. הייתי שרסטמן נלחם כל יום כדי לנשום. אומר תודה לאל כשהוא קם וכשהולך לישון. מפרנס את המשפחה, דואג לחברים שדואגים להרים את הווליומים בספיקרים. הייתי שרסטמן ישראלי אסלי, לא מתעסק פה בחרטות ומדבר רק רסמי. אז מי איתי תשימו יד אחת למעלה, איצ'יבן מספר אחד אז יאללה. אני הייתי שרסטמן ואין בי פחד. כולם לשיר איתי ביחד. אני הייתי שרסטמן ואין בי פחד. כולם לשיר איתי ביחד. הייתי שרסטמן בוי 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 בוי. הייתי שרסטמן בוי 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 בוי. אין בי פחד להעיז ולהגשים את החלומות, לשחות נגד הזרם ולשבור את המוסכמות. אומר את האמת שלי, לא לוחץ על ברקסים, דוגרי נטול שקרים או אינטרסים. שולח כבוד לאחים שהאמינו והשפיעו, בא מהשכונה הזו אף פעם לא שוכח מיהו. מריץ את הדיבור בין הבניינים, יודע שיש אחד למעלה שמנהל את העניינים. נותן לכולם יחס שווה, חשוב תמיד לזכור, בלי קשר לדעת גזע מין עדה או צבע עור. רואה כל החיים את כולם נלחמים נגד עצמם, אז תמיד דוגל באהבת חינם. אני הייתי שרסטמן ואין בי פחד. כולם לשיר איתי ביחד. אני הייתי שרסטמן ואין בי פחד. כולם לשיר איתי ביחד. הייתי שרסטמן בוי 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 בוי. הייתי שרסטמן בוי 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 בוי. אמת למען האמת, חי ובועטת, חומות בבל בלמודד. הלב דופק, הפלאפון רוטט, ברחובות משוטט, מכיתה ט' לא מסתלבט. ילד מבולבל, ספק דיסלקט, בזמן צבא חולם לפרוץ, בינתיים מתקלט בשביל הכסף, מבין שגם צריך להתפרנס.
בום.
יו. בום.
Tov. Shabbat Shalom. Shavua Tov. Chabarim. Here. After the Shabbat podcast here, this is Yadon, a.k.a. Ras Ayadonis Safari LOJ. Here, Rastafari Israelites here with the 17th sabbatical study. Shabbat Yitro. Sabbath Jethro. Moshe's Chotain, his father-in-law, right here. After the Exodus, he's the first one of 600,000 some Israelites to bless Yahweh. And also we have here in this Torah reading and feeding the giving of the 10. The 10 what? The 10 words, falsely called the 10 commandments, pseudonymously called the 10 commandments, but actually the 10 words, Aseret HaDebarim, the giving of the 10 words and the words of the covenant, what the scripture calls the words of the covenant. Get into that as well right here. Exodus chapter 18, Chabarim, chapter 18. Here, pick up chapter 18, chapter 20 right here. After Shabbat podcast. Stay tuned. Cholo, Hebrew here, connected with Psalm 24, evening psalm for the first day. Shavua Tov. Baruch Hashem.
כבוד עליהם, תקשיב. יש כבוד, יש לאנשים שהאמינו, יש כבוד, יש ואלה שהזינו, יש כבוד, יש לאריות ונמרים, אין כבוד, אין לנחשים לצבועים, יש כבוד, יש בינינו לאלוהינו, יש כבוד, יש אנחנו לא לבדנו, יש כבוד, יש לסבלנות של שנים, אין כבוד, אין לנרקומנים לשקלים, כבוד לאלה שאיתנו כבר שנים, ואלה שעברו את הזמנים הקשים, אלה שלא רואים רק את הזרקורים, אלה חברים אחי, אלה הגברים, אלה שהבדילו בין עיקר לטפל, זה שמברך אותך מול זה שמקלל, אלה שהבדילו בין חרוץ לעצל, אלה שעבדו בשמש לא חיכו בצל, אלה שהיו אחד בפה אחד בלב, אלה שהבינו מי נותן ומי חולב, אלה שהבדילו בין חבר לאויב, הם שאהבו אותי אותם אני אוהב, כי יש כבוד יש לאנשים שהאמינו, יש כבוד יש ואלה שהזינו, יש כבוד יש לאריות ונמרים, אין כבוד אין לנחשים לצבועים, יש כבוד יש בינינו לאלוהינו, יש כבוד יש אנחנו לא לבדנו, יש כבוד יש לסבלנות של שנים, אין כבוד אין לנרקומנים לשקלים, מצדיע לכל אלה שראו והאמינו, אלה שרצו לשמוע, אלה שהפנימו, אלה שאכלו את ההצלחה ולא השמינו, רק אתכם רצינו ואיתכם בנינו, אלה שחיפקו נקי ולא רצו למעוך, אלה שהלכו ליד ולא חיפשו לדרוך, אלה שתמיד ידעת יש על מי לסמוך, גם כשהיה קשה עזרתם לי למשוך, אלה שהייתי כשעוד נראיתי מוזר, אלה שהביטו קצת קדימה למחר, אלה נשארו כשכל הרעש נגמר, מי שלא נשבר עומד מול זה שנמכר, כי יש כבוד יש לאנשים שהאמינו, יש כבוד יש ואלה שהזינו, יש כבוד יש לאריות ונמרים, אין כבוד אין לנחשים לצבועים, יש כבוד יש בינינו לאלוהינו, יש כבוד יש אנחנו לא לבדנו, יש כבוד יש לסבלנות של שנים, אין כבוד אין לנרקומנים לשקלים, יום יבוא אלה שצוחקים עכשיו יבכו, אלה שבוכים עכשיו הם עוד יצחקו, יום יבוא אלה שצוחקים עכשיו יבכו, אלה שבוכים עכשיו הם עוד יצחקו, ברוך השם יש לנו את החירות לבחור, ממשיך קדימה לא נשאר מאחור, הכוח הוא בהתמדה, כן, ורק בסוף הדרך סופרים את הקופה, יש כבוד יש 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 יש כבוד יש
Yes, yes, yes. Cholo, cholo right there. Yesh, kavod, yesh. Glory, there's glory. Here, King of Glory, Psalm 24. Same rhythm right there. Psalm 24, King of Glory, Psalm, the evening psalm for the first day of the Shabua here, the after the Shabbat podcast. Here for this Torah reading and feeding, the 17th sabbatical study in this Shabbat strong right here. Yitro. Shabbat Yitro, Sabbath Jethro. Here.
יצחקו יום יבוא, אלה שצוחקים עכשיו יבכו, אלה שבוכים עכשיו הם עוד יצחקו. ברוך השם, יש לנו את החירות לבחור, ממשיך קדימה לא נשאר מאחור. הכוח הוא בהתמדה, כן, ורק בסוף הדרך סופרים את התקופה. יש כבוד, יש
מזמור כ"ד לדוד מזמור. לאדוני הארץ ומלואה, תבל ויושביה, כי הוא על ימים יסדה, ועל נהרות יכונניה. מי יעלה בהר אדוני, ומי יקום במקום קודשו? נקי כפיים ובר לבב, אשר לא נשא לשווא נפשי, ולא נשבע למרמה. יישא ברכה מאת אדוני, וצדקה מאלוהי ישעו. זה דור דורשיו, מבקשי פניך יעקב, סלע. שאו שערים ראשיכם, והינשאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד. מי זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני עזוז וגיבור, אדוני גיבור מלחמה. שאו שערים ראשיכם, ושאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד. מי הוא זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני צבאות, הוא מלך הכבוד, סלע, 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 סלע.
Psalm 24. Rise up to chant.
Psalm 24. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessing from the Lord, and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob. Selah. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, even lift them up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Selah, 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 Selah.
מזמור כ"ד לדוד מזמור. לאדוני הארץ ומלואה, תבל ויושביה, כי הוא על ימים יסדה, ועל נהרות יכונניה. מי יעלה בהר אדוני, ומי יקום במקום קודשו? נקי כפיים ובר לבב, אשר לא נשא לשווא נפשי, ולא נשבע למרמה. יישא ברכה מאת אדוני, וצדקה מאלוהי ישעו. זה דור דורשיו, מבקשי פניך יעקב, סלע. שאו שערים ראשיכם, והינשאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד. מי זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני עזוז וגיבור, אדוני גיבור מלחמה. שאו שערים ראשיכם, ושאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד. מי הוא זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני צבאות, הוא מלך הכבוד, סלע.
לדוד מזמור, לאדוני הארץ ומנועה, תבל ויושב ובה, כי הוא על ימים יסדה, ועל נהרות יכונניה, מי יעלה בהר אדוני, מי יקום במקום קודשו, נקי כפיים ובר לבב, אשר לא נשא לשווא נפשי, ולא נשבע למרמה, יישא ורחם את אדוני, וצדקה אלוהי ישעו, זה דור דורשיו, מבקש פניך יעקב סלע, שאו שערים ראשיכם ינשאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד, מי זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני עזוז וגיבור, אדוני גיבור מלחמה, שאו שערים ראשיכם ושאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד, מי זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני צבאות, הוא מלך הכבוד סלע.
El Shaddai, El Shaddai, protect I and I, every day we cry. We no want a marrow nor a skull fi fly. Praise the Most High. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, protect I and I, every day we cry. We no want a marrow nor a skull fi fly. Praise the Most High. Bees, believe me, I did.
Baruch, Baruch, Baruch. Bless, bless, bless. Ever bless. Rima, Rima, right here. Ever bless.
Yeah, oh, oh. Most I guide the way. So here you know, nothing ever easy about this. And dark days are gonna make you doubt it. Yeah, yeah. That's when your light shine the brightest. So here you know, even though the journey rough, we never worry. In the tough times when most of them are scurry, we still a stand up when heap of them a gang up. If you know you're blessed, me need see every hand up. Cause every test that me passing through prepare me for the next phase me walking through. I know that if we believe it, yeah, we can achieve, just as long as we walk with you. Cause when me trotting on this long road, Mosiah carry my load. When I got far from my home, Mosiah still in a control. Everything, ever blessed. So everything, ever blessed. Love protect. Guidance and protection from every direction. Shuffle up the order when you know it need correction. Never leave me side, stand by me like me right and brighten up the nights and can't give up the fight, man. Cause when the things get heavy, that's when the most I make me feet them steady. Keep me focused when me feel me never ready. Thankful we never yet see the cemetery. Cause when me trotting on this long road, Mosiah carry my load. When I got far from my home, Mosiah still in a control. Everything, ever blessed. So everything, ever blessed. Love protect. Restore your meds, no fly from telly. Positive action, them bad vibes me bury. Lead a good life, make a good choice. No, you never starve, no food fi fill your belly. And one fill the basket. Never make nobody tell you that you can't get. And even when life make you change your plans, never stress, cause one no kill you, go and make you strong. Cause when me trotting on this long road, Mosiah carry my load. stand up when heap of them a gang up. If you know you're blessed, me need see every hand up. Cause every test that we passing through, prepare we for the next phase we walk into. And know that if we believe it, yeah we can achieve, just as long as we walk with you. Cause when me trotting on this long road, was I up carrying my load? When I got far from my home, was I still in a control? Everything ever blessed, know everything ever blessed. Love protect me.
Yes. Rima, ever blessed, ever blessed, ever blessed. Evening psalm right here for the first day, 24. One more tune right here. We call this the Queen's Dub. Here. Queen marketers, clean hands, dub wise. Evening psalm, Psalm 24. Ow. Queen's dub wise. Use more kaf dalet.
Psalm 24. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Lord, or who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessing from the Lord, and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob. See. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, even lift them up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Selah, 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 Selah,
מזמור כ"ד לדוד מזמור. לאדוני הארץ ומלואה, תבל ויושבבה. כי הוא על ימים יסדה, ועל נהרות יכונניה. מי יעלה בהר אדוני, ומי יקום במקום קודשו? נקי כפיים ובר לבב, אשר לא נשא לשווא נפשי, ולא נשבע למרמה. יישא ורחם מאת אדוני, וצדקה מאלוהי ישעו. זה דור דורשיו, מבקשת פניך יעקב סלע. שאו שערים ראשיכם, והינשאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד. מי זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני עזוז וגיבור, אדוני גיבור מלחמה. שאו שערים ראשיכם, ושאו פתחי עולם, ויבוא מלך הכבוד. מי הוא זה מלך הכבוד? אדוני צבאות, הוא מלך הכבוד סלע.
לדוד מזמור, לאדוני הארץ ומלואה, תבל ויושבבה, כי הוא על ימים יסדה, ועל נהרות יכונניה. מי יעלה בהר אדוני, מי יקום במקום קודשו? נקי כפיים ובר לבב, אשר לא נשא לשווא נפשי, ולא נשבע למרמה. יישא ורחם זה דור דורשיו, מבקשי פניך יעקב סלע, שיהיו שערים ראשיכם ינשאו פתחי עולם, יבוא מלך כבוד, מי זה מלך הכבוד, אדוני עזות וגיבור, אדוני גיבור מלחמה, שיהיו שערים ראשיכם ושבו פתחי עולם, יבוא מלך הכבוד, מי זה מלך הכבוד, אדוני צבאות, ומלך הכבוד סלע.
Kavod, Kavod, Melech HaKavod, King of Glory, Psalm 24, evening psalm for the first day here after the Shabbat podcast. Kavod, 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 honor, glory. Here are the 10 words, the 10 commandments. Yes, the King of Glory will come in, open up the gates. Psalm 24 here after the Shabbat podcast. Now we have a psalm here. Evening Psalm, Psalm 24. The daily Psalm corresponding with this 17th sabbatical study for Shabbat Parashat, the Torah portion called Yitro, Jethro. We have Psalm 88. So before we ride up with the Aliyot, with the Torah reading and feedings here for the 17th sabbatical study, let's first of all address the evening psalm, Psalm 24, and the daily psalm, Psalm 88. So we have the 88th psalm. What is in the 88th psalm? Today's daily psalm, Psalm 88. Here, first things first, let's just give an ear. Hear.
Psalm 88. O Lord God of my salvation, I have cried day and night before thee. Let my prayer come before thee. Incline thine ear unto my cry. For my soul is full of troubles, and my life draweth nigh unto the grave. I am counted with them that go down into the pit. I am as a man that hath no strength. Free among the dead, like the slain that lie in the grave, whom thou rememberest no more, and they are cut off from thy hand. Thou hast laid me in the lowest pit, in darkness, in the deeps. Thy wrath lieth hard upon me, and thou hast afflicted me with all thy waves. Selah. Thou hast put away mine acquaintance far from me. Thou hast made me an abomination unto them. I am shut up, and I cannot come forth. Mine eye mourneth by reason of affliction. Lord, I have called daily upon thee. I have stretched out my hands unto thee. Wilt thou show wonders to the dead? Shall the dead arise and praise thee? Selah. Shall thy loving kindness be declared in the grave, or thy faithfulness in destruction? Shall thy wonders be known in the dark, and thy righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? But unto thee have I cried, O Lord, and in the morning shall my prayer prevent thee. Lord, why castest thou off my soul? Why hidest thou thy face from me? I am afflicted and ready to die from my youth up. While I suffer thy terrors, I am distracted. Thy fierce wrath goeth over me. Thy terrors have cut me off. They came round about me daily like water. They compassed me about together. Lover and friend hast thou put far from me, and mine acquaintance into darkness, 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 into darkness.
Psalm 88. Here we have today's daily psalm, according to the royal order, Psalm 88. Mizmor Fei Chet. Alpha numerically, Aleph numerics. The Hebrew letter Peh, Fe, the F, Peh. The Hebrew letter Fe, Peh, has a numerical value of 80. So Mizmor Pei, Fei Chet, right here. Here we have a cry from the depths, out of the deeps right here. Today's daily psalm right here. Let's bring this up on the screen. Chabarim. Here, a plaintive prayer, tefillah, of a patient sufferer like Job. Here, Psalm 88. Let's get this out the way right here. Today's daily psalm. It's interesting here, the psalms here, according to the royal order in this Shabua here, corresponding with this 17th Torah reading and feeding. as we have the Bnei Yisrael coming up and out of Mitzrayim. Contextually speaking, coming out of the depths, out of the deep. As he says, he will bring, he told Yaakov, the patriarch, Abino Jacob, Abino Yaakov, that he would bring him up, right? Bring him up. And here we have the children of Yisrael being brought up and out of Mitzrayim, out of the Tawi, the two lands, out of Egypt, up. I keep emphasizing up because actually geographically it is a coming up, right? And literally a coming up out of Mitzrayim. What does Mitzrayim, Egypt, represents for those of the Ivri, the Hebrew faith? So here we have Psalm 88. The whole of the Psalm, Mizmor Pechet, Mizmor Fechet, a cry from out of the depths. The whole of the Mizmor, the psalm, the chant, the Isis, the Tehillim, is shrouded in gloom. In gloom. It's kind of interesting because in the Torah reading and feeding here, after the 10 words are spoken to the Bnei Yisrael, they have a moment here. They fall all the way back, and Moshe is trying to encourage them to come into, the thick cloud. There's a thick cloud. In Hebrew, it's known as the Arafel, right? There's a thick cloud, a gloom, a kind of a gloomy cloud. But it says here in the scripts, it says this is where Ha-Elohim, where Yahweh Eloheinu, where he is. But the people, they're afraid. They say, Moshe, you hear what Yahweh, what Eloheinu says, and speak it to us, and we will, we will obey. You know what I mean? But if we keep hearing the voice of Yahweh, the voice of Ha-Elohim, the Elohim speaking, we will die. And Moshe, he proceeds to go into this cloud, right, where Yahweh, where Elohim is, and is shrouded by, for lack of a better word, darkness or gloom. This is where he be, right? People talk about having that relationship. They like to, go to the boss, speak to him one-on-one. Well, the boss was speaking to the Bnei Yisrael one-on-one, and some say after the first 2 of the 10 words of the commandment. Now, that's another point here in this Torah reading and feeding concerning the 10 words. Is it the 10 words? Correctly, it is. But it's called the 10 Commandments. We'll touch on that even again. They call it the 10 Commandments, but the truth of the matter is it's one command, right? One command here in Exodus chapter 20 with 10 words. Aseret, the 10 of Hadibarim, the 10 of the words, the 10 words, the 10 utterances, the 10 declarations. Here, these 10 words represent the pure and the perfect will of Yahweh Eloheinu. It's interesting that as Imperial Majesty, Kamal Haile Selassie, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, he says to I, he says to fulfill. You know what I mean? His advice to all is to fulfill, right? Fulfill. It is said that those words were not really perfectly fulfilled until Moshiach, Yeshua, came forward and showed us how to fulfill, right? The perfect will of Yahweh Eloheinu, of Elohim Ha'ab, of God the Father. But here, this cry, this call from the depths. Psalm 88, Mizmor Pe Chet, Mizmor Fe Chet. Psalm 88 is as gloomy, it's said, as Psalm 87. Verse 1 to 7 is cheerful. Psalm 87, we often point to it, especially the last part of verse 4, where it says, with Ethiopia, Im Kush, Ze Yulad Sham. This one was born there, right there, with Ethiopia. And we get a regathering, right? A gathering, a numbering, a counting, right? As it says, and of Zion it shall be said, this man was born in her, and the Most High himself, Elyon himself, doth establish her. Yahweh shall count in the register of the peoples. This one, Zeh, Yulad Sham. This one was born there, right? There. So the question, where? With Ethiopia, this one was born there. Then the final verse says, and whether they sing or dance, all my thoughts are in thee, all my springs right? And the singers and the dancers alike, all my fountains, all my fountains are in thee. So here with Psalm 88, the very next psalm, we have a more gloomy psalm, right? As the psalm before was more cheerful, right? They stand near one another as contrast, as very sharp contrast. Now, it says not Psalm 77, right, as the old expositor's answer to the question, was it quainam ode omnium tristissima. Tristissima. Okay, I'm curious about that. My Latin is not that strong right there. But let's see what this says right here. Let's bring up the translate. Let's translate this right here. Give me one moment, y'all. Let's bring it down to that's Latin. So it says, okay, here we go. Quainam oda omnium tristissima. What is the saddest ode of all? What is the saddest psalm of all? All right, so that was the part right there, the notes that we have before us. What is the saddest ode of all? All right. Okay, so some say it's not Psalm 77. Some reviews Psalm 77. Interesting that these Psalms have like a double numbering, 77. We're here in 88. All right. So the old expositors on the Psalms, they answer, the answer to the question, what is the saddest? Which one is the saddest of the Psalms? It seems as though it's this Psalm 88 is the so-called darkest, the gloomiest of all the plaintive, complaintive of the plaintive psalms. For it is true that we have the name Elohe, right? What Yeshuati, right? Of my salvation. That with that, the praying one calls upon Elohim, the creator, the judge. And his praying itself show that the spark of Emunah, of faith, admittance, trust, and truth, admitting as true within him is not utterly extinguished. However, as to the rest, it is all one pouring forth of deep lament. Now we had previously, what was the Psalm 42, another lament of an exile, a deep lament in the midst of the severest conflict of temptation in the presence of death. Isn't this where the B'nai Yisrael were in the Torah reading and feeding, seeing how this lines up with where we're at in the Torah reading and feeding? This came up out of Mitzrayim, right? The gloom of melancholy does not brighten up to become a hope. The psalm, it dies away. The mizmor, the chant here, it dies away in a Job-like lamentation. You read the book? Have you read the book of Job? Job. Herein, we discern echoes of the Korahitic psalm. See, that was a psalm that we just had previously, Psalm 42. Right? Seeing how the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews bring out the content, the spirit, the theme of the psalms. Not always in their numerical order, but in their theme, right? The theme, Chabarim. And of the Davidic psalms. Compare, if you would, Psalm 88 and 3 with Psalm 18 and 7. Right, as well as Psalm 88 and 5 with Psalm 28 and 1, and Psalm 88 and 6 with Psalm 31:23, Psalm 88:18 with Psalm 22:17, verse 19, although differently applied with Psalm 31:12, and more particularly the questions. There are questions in Psalm 88:11 to 13 with Psalm 6 and 6. Of that, they are, as it were, only the amplification, amping it up. However, these psalms, the psalm echoes are outweighed by the still more striking points of contact with the book of Job. So here, this psalm is a psalm likened to the book of Job, both as regards linguistic usage. So there's some particular interesting linguistic usage, as you can see right there. There. Don't really have the time to go into all of those, but just to give a basic overview. So we have the suffering condition of the poet and the whole manner in that this finds expression, how this is brought out, how this is expressed. For the poet, and I finds himself and I ourselves in the midst of the same temptation as Eob, as Job, as Job. We call him the good Edomite. Not merely so far as his mind and spirit are concerned, but his outward affliction is, according to the tenor of his complaints. Remember, it's a plaintive, pliant, Old English, complaint, the same, vis-a-vis the leprosy. Psalm 88, verse 9, which the disposition to that being born with him has been his inheritance from his youth up. We have this in today's daily psalm, the 16th verse. Now, since the book of Job, the book of Eob, the book of Job is a chokmah work. In the Hebrew, chokmah is wisdom. So the book of Job is a wisdom work, a chokmah work, a wisdom work of the Solomonic age. And the two Ezrahites, they belong to the wise men of the first rank, at the court of Solomon. We have a mention here in 1 Kings 4:31. Let's go over here, 4:31. Let's see where the verse is right here, 4:31. It says, for he was wiser than all men, than Etan, the Ezrahite, and Haman, and Chalkol, and Darda, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about. This is speaking of Shlomo, right? Speaking of Solomon right here, he was wise. Yechekam mikol ha'adam, and he was wiser than all the Adam. He was wiser than all men, than all the Adam. Yechekam mikol ha'adam. May Eitan, from Eitan ha-Ezrahi, Eitan the Ezrahite, with Haman and Haman, with Kalkol and Kalkol, with and Darda'a, B'nei Mahol, and Darda, sons of Mahol, Wayehi Shemo, and it be his name, and his name became Wayehi Shemoa Bekol Hagoyim Sabib, and his name became amongst all the Goyim, the Gentiles, Sabib, that was round about him. Yeah, I think this is a testimony here of Shlomo, of Solomon, right? He was wise. So it is natural to suppose that the book of Job has sprung out of this very chokmah. Chokmah is wisdom company, and that perhaps this very Haman ha-Ezrahi, the Ezrahite, who is the author of Psalm 88, has made a passage of his own life, suffering, and conflict of soul, a subject of dramatic treatment. So here, seeking to kind of like overstand, right, this psalm here, especially after, like, usually we've gone through this, some psalms, we touch on one psalm, we can see how it's related, sometime in a group of psalms or with the previous psalm. But here we have two psalms. The psalm before, 87, is very happy, upful, cheerful. In fact, its theme, Chabarim, Psalm 87, Mizmor Fei Zain, is Zion, the world center. And then we come to Psalm 88, a cry from the depths. So, to the inscription of the psalm, today's daily psalm, we said we'll address this psalm first up before we even get into the Torah reading and feeding, as it is the daily psalm, and here, the evening time. Here we're already moving into the next day. Stay tuned. First day service coming up. But here, a song by the Korahites, to the presenter, to be recited, to be pressed down. Not after Isaiah 27:2, to be sung, but to be pressed down. That expresses nothing, nor to be sung alternately. In other words, like a call and response. That is contrary to the character of the psalm. They're trying to break down what we have in the superscription. A psalm of the sons of Korah, for the leader, for the chief musician. And then we have this expression here in the superscription, upon machalat la'anot. Machalat la'anot. What is machalat la'anot? So you're trying to bring out, well, what is this machalat la'anot? Is it after a sad manner, as we have in Psalm 53 and 1? Psalm 53 and 1. La menatziach al machalat. Machalat, that's part of it. Machalat, maskil le Dawid, to chief musician on machalat. A maskil, an instructive le Dawid, of David. So here they say, after a sad manner, seeking to bring out the superscription, machalat la'anot, with muffled voice. A meditation by Haman ha-Ezrahi, Haman the Ezrahite. This is a double inscription, the two halves that are contradictory, right? And the Bia le Haman side by side with the Livnei Korach. So in the superscription, let's bring this out here in case one say, well, what are you speaking about? You see here's the first verse, including the superscription. So here, a basic breakdown on machalat. What is machalat? What does machalat mean? It's found as the headings of Psalm 53 and Psalm 81. Some say the meaning is dubious, right? They say it might be a catchword in a song giving name to a tune. Some even say that some of the superscription is like today, we'll say like on this rhythm, on this dub, on this beat, on that beat. It could be a beat, but then sometimes the beat have names that have its own meanings. So here, just seeking to go through the superscription so we can give praise with understanding in the standing. So the word machalat, what is machalat? Some bring out the sense that machalat actually means sickness. And in the superscription, the full of the superscription, we have machalat le'anot. What is al machalat le'anot? Some interpret this as the title, as we have in Psalm 53, literally sickness, machalat le'anot, to afflict, to answer, to afflict. Some say it's the name of a medley, a melody, right? Evidently in a minor key. To this, the psalm was to be chanted, like, so you say to your selector, the DJ, to put on, or to the band, to play this or that tune. So the Bia Leheiman, because it says it's a maskil Leheiman ha-Ezrahi, the Ezrahite, right? So we have, right, perfect order, putting it in perfect order, since the presenter, the Menatziach, the musical director, the leader, Haman, he is a Korahite. He is one of the B'nai Korach, right? One of the sons of Korah, according to 1 Chronicles 6:33-38. However, we have another Haman, ha-Ezrahi, is the name of one of the four great Israelitish sages, right? There were four, according to the scripture, great Israelite sages, wise men. And his name was Haman, ha-Ezrahi, Haman the Ezrahite. We have that in 1 Kings 4:31, who according to 1 Chronicles 2:6 is a direct descendant of Zerach, and therefore is not of the tribe of Lewi, but of Yehuda. So we have a similar first name. We can say Haman, but there's a Haman B'nai Korach, son of Korah. But if we're talking about Haman, the Ezrahite, he's actually not a Levite, but a Judahite. So the suppositions that Haman, the Korahite, had been adopted, some say, into the family of Zerach, or that Haman, the Ezrahite, the Ezrahi, had been admitted among the Levites, are miserable attempts to get over the difficulty. So even in doing our study to show ourselves approved, we find, well, there's two Hamans here, right? Which Haman, right? Haman, which Haman is being mentioned here? At the head of the psalm, the very head of the psalm, before beginning into the so-called first proper verse, the very head of the psalm, there stands two different statements respecting its origin side by side. So we're seeking to find out, well, what's the origin, so we can get the context of today's daily psalm, right? What's the origin? Well, we have two statements, right, respecting its origin, right, side by side, that are, as the scholars say, and as it appears to be, irreconcilable. So this is the superscription: Shir, Mizmor, Libnei Korach, Lamnatseach al Machalata le'anot, maskil leheman ha-ezrachi. This is bringing it out right here, a song, right? A song, a shir, or a mizmor, a chant for the sons of Korah, Libnei Korach, to the chief musician La Menatzeach, upon Machalat le'anot, al Machalat le'anot, a maskil, right, of Haman the Ezrahite. Maskil leheman ha-ezrachi. So that's the part right there, because we get into it, we'll see that, that's the superscription. In the Hebrew, that's the very first verse. So when it says in this verse there, read on to near the third, right, the third verse from the end, it says, O Lord, right? It says, O Lord, God of my salvation, I have cried day, night before the eye. That's what you have in the KJV, most printed copies of the King James Version, as the first verse. Most often we'll overlook the superscription, but we don't, because there's a lot that can be found and help us to understand other areas of the scripture. The assumption that the title of the psalm originally was either Shir Mizmor, right, Li B'nai Korach, or merely it was La Menatzeach, is warranted by the fact that only in this one psalm do we have La Menatzeach, to the Menatzeach, Le Ha Menatzeach, Le Ha Menatzeach, La Menatzeach, to the Ha Menatzeach, the chief musician, does not occupy the first place in the inscriptions. However, which of the two statements is the more reliable one? Most assuredly, some say the latter, right? The latter, what we have here, Shir, Mizmor, a song, a psalm, Libnei Korah, for the sons of Korah, is only a recurrent repetition of the inscription of the previous psalm, which is Psalm 87, a psalm of the sons of Korah, a song. The second statement, on the other hand, by its precise designation of the melody and by the designation of the author that corresponds to the psalm that follows, it gives evidence. The evidence is the later part of the superscription, giving the evidence of its antiquity and its historical character, right? So here, Psalm 88, the whole of the psalm enshrouded in gloom. And in this respectfully, it differs from the others. Which others? Psalm 7, Psalm 22, Psalm 31, that tell of bitter personal suffering. No gleam of light or hope breaks through this pliant. The author prays for relief without any mention of its coming or even its expectation. The Targum being the interpretation, it explains that the Mizmor, the Ises, the Psalm, as relating to Yisrael. So some of the interpreters explain that this psalm relates to the Beta Israel, Yisrael, Israel in captivity. And it is similarly interpreted even by later scholars like Rashi. However, on the other hand, the intense personal note is too evident to be missed. The psalm is written with the very heart's blood of the poet, some say. Who the sufferer was cannot be fully determined, but from the account of his misery, he appears to have been smitten early in life with a dreadful ailment. Some say it could be leprosy, biblical skin disease, leprosy, that caused him to be shunned, by all, and made his existence a living death. Here, today's daily psalm right here, Psalm 88, the poet finds himself in the midst of circumstances and situations gloomy in the extreme. However, he does not despair. He still turns towards Yahweh with his complaints and calls him, what does he call him in this very first verse? Yahweh, Elohei Yeshuati. Oh, he who be, the Elohim of my salvation, of my victory, of Yeshuati, Yahweh Elohei Yeshuati. Oh, Yahweh, the Elohim, almighty power of my salvation, victory. So this actus directus, when they throw in these words here, we're tempted to, this is what we do in our private study. So we share this with the Habarim. Okay, actus directus, a little Latin right there. Actus directus, direct action. Actus directus. All right. So this direct action, actus directus of fleeing in prayer into tefillah to Elohe Yeshua, right? Yeshua, God of salvation, that urges, right, its way through all that is dark and gloomy, is the fundamental characteristic of true faith, of the true emun, of the true credit, building up our credit rating, our faith rating, our admittance, trust, truthfulness in he who be. So what it seems to be saying here is that though the psalm is kind of gloomy, it's kind of a down song, right? And we'll try to just kind of go over some of the highlights right here, because we do have a Torah reading and feeding, but scrolling on some of the highlights right here, that the key is how he opens. Yahuwah, or he who he be, right? Elohe Yeshuati. He be the Elohim, almighty power of my salvation, my preservation, of my victory, even victory through all that is dark, disilluminated, gloomy, right? Down pressed. So Psalm 88 and 2 is not to be rendered as a clause by itself. The part where it says, by day I cried to thee, in the night before thee, that ought to have been your mom, to say daily, days right there, but it's pointing out by day. So by day, like in the daytime, when I cry before thee in the night, make my prayer come. In verse 3, he calls his piercing lamentation, his wailing, his rinati. That's interesting because rina is a way of like a cry out, a singing, a shrill. It can be in joy and it can be also in pain. Right? This is found in other Psalms, as it mentions right here, just going through some of the overview right here, and some of the teaching. But here, we can kind of get into that more another time, Chabrim. But here, just touching on this, a song. First word here, it says a song. The word for song is shir and shirah. Now, in the Torah reading and feeding, we just had a song. We had a song of the sea. The song of the sea, that triumphant song, the song of the sea. Now, here, this accordingly, in today's daily Psalm, Psalm 88, this is an abnormal use of the term shir and shirah. Shir and shirah, two forms of it, noun masculine, noun feminine. Shir, shirah. But song, like a song, sing a song, a shir. This is an abnormal use of the term because it is here, right? It here includes no connotation of joy. So why does it say a song? The word or is not there, so really it's a song, a psalm for the sons of Korah, right? A psalm of Haman, the Ezrahite, giving instruction, right? So when it says to chief musician upon machalat la'anot, maskil mean an instructive, right? An instructive, a contemplation, but here instructive, didactic, and instructive, giving instruction of Haman ha-Ezrahi. Now, remember, he's one of the four wise sages, according to scripture, right, of the Israelitish nation, right? So some sort of instruction is contained here. Upon machalat la'anot. What is these words? Machalat la'anot. As we mentioned, sickness to afflict, right? The name, some say, of a melody. Machalat la'anot, right? Let's bring this tune here. Bring the dub. Select that dub right there. Which dub? Machalat la'anot. Here's sickness to afflict. There's a tune named Sickness to Afflict. Well, here we have this in the superscription right here. Let's get into this right here. We touched on Haman, right? Haman, right? Even if we don't get into the full right here, let's touch on a couple of keys. Here we have Haman. Haman means faithful. Haman, right? Faithful. He was a wise man to whom Shlomo Solomon was compared to this wise man, right? Of the wise men of the East, right? One of the wise men of the East. Yeah. Son of Yoel, right? Grandson of Shemuel, Samuel, and a Levitical singer and author of Psalm 88. Here he's also called and known as a seer. Now, before there was prophets in Israel, you'll find in the book of, I think, Samuel, it says before they were called prophets, they were called seers. Seers, right? Seers. So here we have Haman. And Haman in the scripture is the name of at least two Israelites. As we mentioned, one was a Levite and one was a Judahite. Right? So Haman, a director of temple music. Some say there's a question or an uncertainty about the identity of this one. But in First Chronicles 2 and 6, there's a Haman. Haman, right? With this name right here, Haman. There's a Haman, right? In in First Chronicles 2 and 6. A Haman is mentioned among the sons of Zerach, a Judahite. A Korahite Haman is named in First Chronicles 15, 17, and 19, who together with Asaph and Etan was appointed to take charge of the instrumental music. The instrumental music, we could say like today of the dub music, the instrumental music. This may be the man intended, but no connection can be traced between the Ezrahite clan and the Levites. A reference occurs to a Haman coupled with Etan, the Ezrahite, as a person of great wisdom, as we mentioned already in 1 Kings chapter 5, verse 11. Some, like Osterley, suggest that, quote, there may well have been two Hamans and two Etans right here. So right here, right? Because the psalm is so-called dark, so to speak, that one's trying to figure out, like, with David's psalms, we can trace some of these psalms go to experiences that he had. So it starts to make sense as we study the psalm and the historical books like Samuel and Kings, to get a fuller context right here. But here, looking at the time here, let's touch on a couple of verses here. We have a few sections here. We have verses 1 to 2 is the appeal for Elohim's hearing, for a hearing, like in court, a hearing. In verses 3 to 5, his extreme anxiety, the straits, the difficulties, the anxieties. In verses 6 to 8, Elohim's wrath, right, is up on him. In verses 9 to 12, right, there's a theme. Will not Elohim relieve him before it is too late? Will not God relieve him it is too late? In verses 13 to 17, his prayer, the prayer right here is renewed. So right here, the opening portion right here, today's daily psalm, a psalm for the sons of Korah, to the chief musician, upon sickness to afflict, sickness to answer, machalat la'anot, a melody, maskil of Haman the Ezrahite. O Yahweh, Elohei Yeshuati, Elohim of my salvation, my victory, I have cried day, night before thee, before the eye. Here. Shir Mizmor, Libnei Korach, Lamnatzeach, Al Machalata Le'anot, Maskil Leheman, Ha Ezrachi, Yahweh Elohei Yeshuati, Yom Tza'akti, Balayla Negedeka, Balayla Negedeka, Negedeka, before the eye, in the night. Let's see right here what they have right here. Yeah. King James didn't have to put the and in down there. He could have said, I have cried day, right, in the night before the eye. That's the Hebrew there. I've cried. I've shrieked. Actually, I've shrieked. Yom Sa'akti. Yom Sa'akti. Balayla, negedeka, and in the night before, like before the eye. Now, before the eye is not just in your face. It's not just in your face. Paneka, there we go right there. Yahweh, Yahweh, Elohe, Yeshuati. He who be, who he be, Yahweh, Jehovah, the Elohim of my salvation, of my victory. Yahweh, Elohe, Yeshuati. Right there. But here the word negedeka. Here we go. Neged. Neged. What is conspicuous? What is in front? Like almost like what is opposite before your face. We know this from the first place. We have neged in the scripture, one of the first place where it says, not good that the man be alone, but that he would, bring for him the Ezra Kenegdo. Ezra, like Ezra Kenegdo, a help meet, a help like opposite before him, like face to face. It has a sense of face to face. What is opposite? What is like opposed to opposite? What's in front, like a counterpart. There we go, right there. Counterpart, right? The Ezra Kenegdo. Ka from negado, like negado. Ezra Kenegdo. The sense of like over against, right? Over against. It's like face to face. Like a counterpart, like male and female counterpart. So he says in the night, it's before you. It's like a counterpart. It's opposites in your face. It's like over against you. Because he says, Yom Sa'ak eti. Right? So we have Sa'ak. 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 What is Sa'ak? It means like to shriek. Sa'ak properly is to cry out, to call out, but Strong's, I think, brings it out best here, to shriek, like to shriek, or to proclaim, like when one proclaims an assembly, they make their voice really high, shriek, come ye, come ye, come ye, come ye, to some, you know what I mean? But this is like a shriek here. So he says, in the day, right, in the day I shriek, and in the night, right, I'm like before the eye. I'm opposite before the eye, like in patient prayer, penitent prayer, and supplication, opposite of the eye. So here an appeal, right, for Elohim's hearing. Key word right here, key word, right, phrase, God of my salvation, Elohe Yeshuati. Right, in the midst of his agony, he clings to his faith in Yahweh, right, as the only source from whom his salvation, right, Yeshuato, his preservation, his victory, his Yeshua, right, his salvation, deliverance, welfare, prosperity, salvation by Elohim, victory, right, noun feminine here, something saved, victory, aid, prosperity. In some places like Psalm 42, this word was translated in English as help, right? God of the help of his countenance, salvation, right? Preservation, that's salvation. What time I cry in the night. Some bring out the translation instead of I have cried. It's like what time, right? Like in the time that I've cried, what time, right? I cry in the night. Literally, by day I shriek, in the night before thee. By day I shriek. It's somewhat of an odd construction. It's almost like a construction words of somebody singing in that pain. It's not all smooth down. It's somewhat rough, but you can get the spirit of it. Yom, yom, sa'akti. Day I shriek. Day, not even days in the day, but day, literally, not your mom daily, but yom, day, sa'akati, I shriek, I call out, balayla in the night, negedeka, right, before the eye. What do we have here, right? I shriek in the day, and my cry continues. My shrieking continues. My sa'ak, right? Sa'akati. My shrieking continues, right? Balayla, into the lila, into the night. The AV, the authorized version, RV version, often have I have cried day and night. But the day and night, that's a paraphrase. It's not really the direct of the Hebrew. As we mentioned, Yom, day, sa'akati, I cry, I shriek, balayla, in the night, negedeka, before the eye. Here, to the second verse, the bait verse right here, just this opening section, right? May my prayer come before, So this is a different before here, panim, like to say before your face, in your presence. Make my prayer come before thee, my before your presence, in your face. My incline, bend, incline thine ear to my cry. Now notice that in the first verse there was cry, but there's a difference of the cry right here. Tabo, lifaneka, tifalati, tabo, let her come. Tabo, may she come. She, who is she? My prayer, my tefillah, my prayer, my self-analysis, noun feminine, my prayer, my intercession, my supplication. The implication here, this hymn, this prayer, tabo, lifaneka, before the eye, male face, tifilati, my prayer, hate, azneka, hate ozneka, lirinati, hate, nata. The root word is nata. Nata means to stretch out. Right? Hate is the form of it. Right? In the he-fil sense. Hate, the he-fil sense, to stretch out. The sense of to spread out, but more directly to turn or incline. Let the influence. May your ear be influenced to hear I. Bend down. Right? To extend. The sense of extend, stretching. Right? Bend your ear. Right? Bend your ear. Hate azneka, your ozen. Right? Ozneka, hate oznecha, hate aznecha. Right? Your ozen, the ozen, azen, the ozen, the ear. Right? Li to rinati. So here we have the word rina. Now, Rina, Metaphysical Bible Dictionary actually brings out a very good. It talks about the Rina and the Rana, and bring out this Hebrew word for a cry. Other places it's translated as joy. In some places of the psalm as joy. It's a ringing, a shrill cry. It can be an entreaty, a supplication. In proclamation, often it's joy, it's praise. Rina. It's like a creaking, a shrill sound. Notice when it says that is a shout. A shout, it can be a shout of joy. In other psalms, it's a shout of joy, but it also can be a shout of grief. It's a kind of a vibration, ranan, right? To be overcome. It's a cry out, a shout for joy, a ringing cry. But the first sense of the verb here, kind of it's more appropriate to the spirit of today's psalm, Mizmor Fechet 88, to overcome. Rinati, to my sound. My shout out, my word sound, my cry, my sound of being overcome. In Psalm 17, verse 1, we have a similar sense right here. Second verse right here. Tabo lifaneka tifilati. Hate aznecha lirinati. Bend your ear to hear my rina, right? The vibes, like saying to Yah, feel the vibes of my cry, my shout out. This shout out is an overcome, a shout out not of joy, but of being overcome by the situations and circumstances. Here. Let's see if we can push forward to another verse, couple of sections right here. Verses 3, right? Verses 3 to 6 is extreme straits, the extreme difficulties right here. For my soul is full of troubles, and my life draweth near to the grave. Kia sabah be raota nafshi we hayai lishola hiya giu higiu drawing nigh naga higu draw is touched, striking, it's reaching, it's stricken, right? To touch the naga, right? To be touched, to lay a hand on. Implication in other senses to lay with a woman, touch a woman, but here to lay a hand on, to reach, to arrive. In a violent sense, to strike, right? To strike. So he says, here my soul is full, right? My soul is full of troubles. Ki, sava. Actually, the word full of sabah, the sabah, sabeya, satisfied. My soul is she is fully satisfied. She is sated. Like, when you eat and you like, I have enough. It says my psyche has enough of these troubles. Kia sabah, bit ra'ot, ra'a, the ra'ra of troubles, of evil, of bad, right? Ra'ot, Ra'ot nafshi, my soul and my life, chayai, my life is drawing near, striking near. Drawing near is being touched by. Here, the word grave is not the word grave, really, it's Sheol. Sheol is like the underworld. It's an interesting concept here, the underworld, right? It's almost like, you know how they say, like, well, yes, hell, there can be a hell after you die, a Hades, a hell. But then sometimes people say, well, hell is also experience on this earth. This is interesting because the Psalms bring out both these ideas that there's a Sheol after one dies, but then there's a Sheol. It's almost like, I call it the nightmare. It can be like a nightmare state, or in ancient Egypt, they call it the duat, like the underworld. Not the one in ancient Mitzrayim belief, if one died, they have to go through these kind of the opening of the mouth, be able to stand the judgment and all these kind of, obstacles they have to go through. Christ, the Messiah, Robenu, brings it out in his parable of the rich man and Lazarus. After he died, they're in that Sheol. Abraham, the bosom of Abraham, is the better district of the Sheol, but the rich man, he's across the gulf, the gap, in torment, so dry that he wants, Lazarus to have his finger dipped in some water. That's the Sheol. So yes, that can happen after one died, as Robenu mentions in his word, parable, lesson right there, but it also can be something that one experiences in life. In fact, other Psalms, the psalmist is saying that they are in Sheol. So there's hell here, so to speak, and potential for hell there. But this is Sheol. This is not just a burial place. This is like a state of mind, a consciousness, a state of mind. We can say a psychological state. And since the soul, right, goes on after death, to experience what it experienced, so be it. Draweth nigh, better have drawn nigh. He is saying right here, he's at the point of death. Ki sava b'ra'ot nafshi v'chayai lishol. Higi'u is being touched by this condition. Here, verse 4, let's go to verse 4, the Dalet verse right here. I am counted with them that go down to the pit. I am a man, no strength, a man, no strength. Nechshabti ya'ima yordei bora. Hayiti yaka gevera ein eyal. A man with no ayal. Look at ayal, right? From the same chayil, right? Ayal, right? Chayil, power, strength, help, strength, ayal. So he says, Ain Eyal, without Eyal. This is an interesting use of Eyal here, right? Eyal, this link with the Chayil, right? Strength, also help. Eyal, right? There we go, right there. So here, he's counted as one, right? He is counted, right? The Chashab, right? The Chashab sense. Nechshabti. What is Nechshabti? You see the nifal of the Hashab, Nechshabti, is to be accounted, to be thought, to be esteemed, to be computed, right? Machshav, this is the word in Hebrew for computer from this root word here, to be computed, right? He who have wisdom, let him count, let him computate. He is inputted, imputed, accounted, thought of, right? One of those who go down to the pit. We have this in Psalm 28 and 1. Eyal, I am a man. He says, not a man, Adam, I'm a geber. He says, Hayiti, I have become Hayiti kegever, as a geber, right? As a man, even a strong man, a mighty man, a man that can fight, that has strength, but still, I'm as a geber, right? Hayiti kegever, ain, eyal, without eyal, without strength. So I'm a strong man. He says, I'm a strong man without strength, is what he's saying here in this verse from the Ivrit, from the Hebrew. Hayiti kegever ein eyal. I am as not just a man, as a translator has here, but I'm like a geber. I'm a strong man, right? I'm like a strong man without strength. Without strength. He is inert, right? Almost like a dead man. A strong man, here the word geber, right? There's 4 words for man, in like 4 words in Hebrew that are translated often simply as man, but the nuance is important. But now, not just as a man without no help or without any strength, but I'm a geber. I'm a strong man. I have been as a strong man. Hayiti kagever, right? Ain, without. That it doesn't exist to him, right? Ain, eyal, without any eyal. And this unique form of the word for strength, power, eyal, chayil. There's the chayil and there's the ayil. Here we have the eyal, right? The eyal, right? So a strong man without strength. How strong is that? Here to the 5th verse right here. His extreme straits, his extreme difficulties, the hay verse right here. Free among the dead, like the slain that lay in the grave, whom thou rememberest no more. They are cut off from thy hand. Now we have another teaching on this right here. I'd love to share it, where we compare it with some of the mythos from Mitzrayim. We got this from, who's that guy? What's his name? Gerald Macy. And then we went into, the Hebrew of what he alludes to. And it's a very interesting reasonment right here. It's like he's passing through the underworld here, right? It's like a passing through hell, essentially passing through Sheol right here. Free among the dead like the slain. It's almost like when they have these movies and series about zombie apocalypse. Yeah, something like that. Free among the dead like the slain that lay in the grave. Remember the other word grave? The other word grave was false. It was to be Sheol. This word grave is keber, kibra, keber. This is the little grave, like where they put the body, whom thou rememberest no more, right? The other Sheol is like where the soul goes to, right? The keber is like where the body goes to. Whom thou rememberest no more. They are cut off from thy hand. They are cut off from thy yad. Here. Let's bring this out right here. Ba Metim, among the dead ones, the Metim. Ba Metim Hafshia Kamoa Halalim. Shokaveya Kaverasha Loa Zakartam. Odawe Hema Mia Yadika Nigzaru. What is he saying here? Set apart among the dead. Set apart among the dead. Among the dead, he says, among the dead, I am free. I'm set apart among the dead. Ba metim chofshi. Interesting word here, the chofshi. Talking about the Israelites, the chofshi. Right? Chofshi. What's a chofshi? Is free from slavery. Chofshi. Right? Free from taxes or obligations, from being taxed or obliged. Chofshi. Right? Free, exempt from bondage. That's what the Israelites came out into, chofshi, right? Chofshi. But here in this psalm, right? This psalm, to be freed, right? Chofshi. What's the verse here? He says, Ba metim chofshi. Among the dead ones, chofshi. I am free. Apart from the living and reckoned among the dead. The word is used in 2 Chronicles 26 and 21. Of the leper king. You remember the leper king? Israel had a leper king, not the Crusades. There was a leper king, so to speak, in the time of the Crusades. One of the Christian kings, I think, that had leprosy. I forget his name now, but there was a leper king, was Uzziah. Right? He was a leper king who was confined in a house set apart. Remember what happened to him? He thought to do what the priests do, to offer the Aishans, and he was struck. Naga. He got the naga, right? With skin disease or leprosy. So right here, he says, slain, right? Like the slain that lie in the grave, whom thou rememberest no more. Like the who? Kamo halalim. Kamo halalim. Like the halal. Halal. What's the halalim? Halal is like halal, not halal, but halal, to be slain, fatally wounded, to be pierced. Also, halal is to profane. We say the Chilul Hashem is profaning the name, the Yahweh, profaning his name. Chilul, also in a sense, one divorce, profaned by divorce, right? To be halal, right? But the sense of this has a sense of being polluted in the figurative sense, but literally to be pierced, right? Like somebody pierced and therefore slain. He says, like the slain in the grave, kamoa halalim shokvei ever shokvei. He is shakabing. What's shakab? Shokvei, like those that lay down. Shokvei, that lay down in the kever. So the word for grave is the kever, kever, the grave, the dead body grave. Not a separate grave that can be identified and serves as a memorial to the dead person. That's not what he's talking about, but a kind of a large trench. What he's saying here is he's in a kind of a large trench. Not his own grave. People have their own grave, the headstone, they're there by themselves, right? No. This is not it. This is like a large trench into which the corpses of the slain on the battlefield are heaped for burial, right? He says, like the slain that lie in the grave, whom thou rememberest no more, When they have descended into Sheol, there's no more remembrance. Asher lo, Asher, those who lo not, zekartam. There's no zakar of tam, of them. There's no recall of them. Asher lo zekartam od. There's no remembrance of them going on, right? The remembrance of them, the senses have been cut off, right? In his affliction, his mind rejects the brighter thoughts that we find in Psalm 30, round about verse 3, verse 4. But he goes on to say, even in the next phrase in this verse, and they are cut off from thy hand, and they are cut off, these and those types, with Hema, they themselves, the Hema, they themselves, miyadika, from your yad, right? Nigzaru, they are gazar, to cut, right? Gazar, like to cut, but the sense is like cut in two halves. It's not just to cut, but it's like usually to cut in half, right? To cut off, to destroy, right? They are cut off from thy hand, from thy saving power. So the yadika, in the yad here, referring to Yahweh, is his saving hand, his saving power, right? His work, his working, the working of salvation. I'm cut off from before thine eyes. We have this in Psalm 31, verse 22 to verse 23. The next section right here, 6 to 8, right? In 6 to 8, Elohim's wrath is upon him. Let's push through this. Push through. Vav, the wild verse right here. He says, thou hast laid me in the lowest pit, in darkness, in the depths, right? So the pit is the bore, the vor, like the vortex, the bore, pit, the hole, right? Thou hast laid me in the lowest. Notice it says the lowest, right? Pit. Like in New Testament, there's a place where it says Tartaros, the lowest pit, in darkness, in the deeps. Right here. Shatani, you have shatad me, right? Shat, right? Shatani, you have set me, put me, stationed me, bebor. Shatani ya bevor, in the bor, tachetiyot, the bor, tachetiyot, tachti is like low, tachti, right? Tachti, lower, lowest. Tachtiyot, but it's a plural sense here, tachtiyot. So it's like saying, you have set me in the pit of the lowest ones, right? It's a plural sense. Shataniya bebora tachtiyota be machashakim, be mitzolot. Bia mitzolot. So the machshak. What is machshak? Machshak is a dark place. Machshak. Darkness, secrecy, right? Dark region, right? Darkness. Here he says in the dark regions. Be machashakim. Bia mitzolot. The mitzola, What is Mitzola? Mitzola. Mitzola is the depths. Mitzola. Mitzola, right? From Sula. Sula is ocean deep, right? So see that sense of waters. We was touching on that, how waters, right, sometimes symbolize when they're much, enough, affliction. Thou hast laid me. Shatani. Shata ani. Shata, the I haven't laid ani. Shatani. Shatani bebora tachtiot. Thou hast laid me. In his desperate plight, he thinks of himself as already departed from the world. He's already laid down. You see the language? That has laid me already. He's already there. Right? Shatani bebora tachtiot. Right? Tachtiot. He thinks of himself in this desperate plight as already departing from the world of men. He's already in the nethermost, right? The nethermost pit, right? The bor tachtiyot, the pit of the lower ones, right? The lowest, right? Netherworld, Sheol. We have this in Psalm 86, round about verse 12, verse 13, located. Some thought of this as located in the depths of the earth, right? Like the underworld, the sense of the underworld amongst many cultures had their own ideas. The Greeks called it Hades, the Egyptians called it the Duat, right? The Hebrews know it as the Sheol, and Yeshua spoke of it in the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Dark places, right? Be mahashakim, bia misolot. Dark places, the dark places. Mahashakim, the Mahshakim. Not just Mahshak, one place, but places. Mahshakim. Here, Chabarim, the Hebrew here, Mahshak, it usually denotes the sea depths, right? Darkness of Sheol, the dark places, as we have in Psalm 143, round about verse 2. The deeps, the depths, the mitzulot usually denotes the sea depths. And here it is Sheol. So this connection of the waters, and there's so many waters. I mean, they've explored parts of space allegedly, right? The modern day man in his science, allegedly he's explored parts of space, but he still says there's parts of the depths of the ocean that he can't get to. Yes, so right here. Shatani bebora tachtiyota be machashakim be misulot. Here to the Zain. Thy wrath lieth hard upon I, and thou hast afflicted, right, with all thy waves. Selah. This psalm doesn't sound Chabarim, Talmudim. If you checked out the previously we had Psalm 42 here in the season. The language, the waves here before the Selah, the interlude. He says, Alai, Samka, Hamateka, Wikola Misha Bareka, Enita, Selah, Enita, you have afflicted. Enita, now that links there, the afflicted part with Le'anot, the Anna, to be occupied, busy, to be down-pressed, to be humble, to be bowed down, to be downcast. The sense down here, be brow-beating, right? Brow-beating, looking down, depressed, down-pressed, right? Anita, you have pressed me down. And then he says, Selah, pause, interlude, right? Like a breath, reprieve. Alai upon I, Samka. Alai Samka, right? Samka, Samak. Samak is to lean, to support. In the parts of the scripts where it says that one would bring a sacrifice and place their hands on it, Samak, and even upon the priests, the people have placed their hands on, laying hands on. This is the sense here. Alai upon I, Samka, you have laid on, right? Chamateka, your chema, ham. You've gone ham. He's saying you're going ham against me, right? Chamateka, your heat, your rage, your hot displeasure, your burning anger. You've gone ham against I. right? With call and all, mishabareka, all of your mishbars, the mishbars, all the breakers, like the breakers of the sea. Another verse here with the idea of waters and the depths of the sea, the real deeps of the sea. With call, mishabareka, enita, enita, you have afflicted, you afflict, right? Selah, pause, like let up for a moment. Interesting, because the sea, the depths of the sea can be some scary place, you know. Ask Jacques Cousteau. Thy wrath, chamatika, demonstrated by the pains inflicted upon him. Thy heat, the wrath here, literally the chamatika, thy heat. All thy waves, called mishbareka, all of your waves. All of thy waves and thy billows are gone over me. We have this in Psalm 42, the previous day's psalm in the royal order, 42, round about verse 7. Pressed down, overwhelm me, right? Pressed down, afflicted, anna, right? We can say press down, down press, right? Or afflict. The flick, press down, choose your word, either, right? Anita, you have pressed down upon I, you have overwhelmed I. Alai samka hamateka. We call mishbareka, Anita, Selah, pause. Pause, 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 pause. Right here to the next verse, the chet verse right here, the 8th verse right here, just to complete this section. Thou hast put away mine acquaintance far from me. Thou hast made me an abomination to them. Shut up and cannot come forth. Here, his wrath, Elohim's wrath upon him, upon I and I. Here hakta, me yudai, my acquaintances, those who know I, me yudai. Here hakta, me yudai, mimeni. Shataniya to evota lamo. Kalua with law, etze. Kalua with law, etze. And I cannot come out. I cannot exit. He says, like I'm unable to go out, come forth, but the more of the sense is I cannot yatsa. I cannot exit. You know, like you're in a situation and you can't get out. He says, I'm shut up. Kalu with law, etze. With law, etze, and I cannot exodus. I cannot exodus from this mine acquaintance, right? Here from the yada sense, may you die, my those who know I, mine intimate friends. With the verse that describes the condition of a leper, right? We have this in Psalm 31, right? Psalm 31, verse 11 to 12. So what he says that you has put me away, thou hast put away mine acquaintance far from me. This is what happens when somebody had leprosy. The rahak sense. When he says, hirhakta, you have made to be far, right? May you die, my acquaintances, those who know I, mimeni, from I, right? And also made me a to'eba, right? To'ebot. He actually says, you have made me abominations. Not even just an abomination, to'eba. He says, to'ebot. You made me abominations, right? Shatani, you have set me to'ebot, abominations, lamo, to them. The Hebrew is plural with an intensive force. So the sense of abominations is like you made me utter abomination. Not just abomination, but utter abomination to the nth degree. You know? Shatani atoebota lamo kalu. I am kala. I'm restricted. I'm restrained. I'm held back. Kalu. Right? With law, say I'm held back and I can't exodus. Right? I can't come out. I can't come out of this. Gonna keep pushing through, right? This gloom, right? Psalm right here. Here we have the next section, verses 9 to 12. Will not Yahweh relieve him? it is too late, before it is too late. Hear the eighth verse. Hear the eighth verse. Mine eye mourneth by reason of affliction. Yahweh, I have called daily up on thee. I have stretched out my hands to thee. Aini, dava, Ainiya dava, mini. Onia keratika Yahweh, Bikol Yoma, Shiat Acheti, Eleka Kapai, Shati, Shitachti, Eleka, Shitachti, Eleka, I spread out, my hands, Eleka, to the I kapai. Here he says, I stretch out my palms, my kaf, my palms, not my yad, kapai, my palms, like the open palms. But first he says, mine eye, aini, right? Aini, mine eye, right? Mine eye. Not mine eyes, but aini, mine eyes, dava, mini, mine eye languish. My eye mourneth, dava, faints, language, it pines away, dava, mini, from me. The sufferings of his mind and body are visible in the look of his eyes. So when it says that the eye is the window to the soul, this verse here brings out that sense, aini, dava, mini, oni, right? Mini, oni, right? Mini, by reason of mini, only, by reason of affliction, only, poverty, affliction, misery, depression. So here the sufferings of his mind and body visible in the look of his eyes. This is also similar to Psalm 6, round about verse 7, verse 8, and Psalm 31, round about verse 9, verse 10. His response, Ratika, I call upon the eye daily. I've stretched out my hands to the eye, spread forth. Here we have the gesture, Ratika Yahuwah, Bikol Yom, all the day. Shitachti, stretching out, Eleika, to the eye, kapi, right? Kapi is my palm, kapai, my palms, the palms of my hands, right here to the old verse here. This section, will Yahweh, right, relieve him, right, relieve before it's too late. Wilt thou shew wonders to the dead? So now here he's reasoning, bargaining, reasoning. He says, will you show wonders to the dead? Shall the dead arise? Praise the eye? Selah. Another Selah here, another pause, another Medi, right? Here. Ha lametim. Ha lametim. Ha lametim. To the dead ones? Ha lametim. Metim is the dead ones. Ha. The ha before it gives a sense of, is it not? Is it like, is it for real? Like the such and such. Ha la, the, to the dead ones. So is it to the dead ones? Halametim? Halametim? Is it to the dead ones? Halametima ta'aseh pele? Will you do your wonders? Ta'aseh pele? Will you do your wonders to the dead ones? Im Rifaim Yakumua Yoduka. In other words, he says here, wow, he actually uses that word there. Notice the word dead. Notice here, it says, wilt thou shew wonders to the dead? Right? First word dead is mut, metim. The plural sense, metim. This is the verb. Metim is the noun for dead ones, right? Those who are mate, metim, dead ones, right? So here it says, wilt thou shew wonders to the dead ones? Right? Halametim, ta'aseh, would you do? Ta'aseh, will you do? Pele, we do felle. We do that which is marvelous, wondrous, things hard to understand for the metim, for the dead ones. But then notice the next word for dead. It says, shall the dead, different word here. It's the word Rafa, right? He says, if, Rephaim, if the shades, like to say, if the shades is, it's interesting because in Job, this is where this psalm connects with Job. It said the dead things are formed under the waters. Right? There's a verse, the dead things formed under the waters. And he uses the word right here, Rephaim. Rephaim. You know, when one's asked, well, how did some of these Nephilim and other creatures survive after the flood? Right, and then we see some ancient archaeology and stuff where they show these creatures, these man hybrid creatures coming out of the water. And here it has the Rephas, the Rephaim. So when it says show the dead arise, this is somewhat of a false translation. Perhaps maybe they didn't really understand it well, or it was hard to bring out. So you can see that it has dead, dead, but it's not the same dead in the two questions here. One dead is the Matim, the dead, regular dead, Matim. Then it has the Rephaim. It says, Im Rephaim Yakumu. Will the Rephaim arise? Im Rephaim Yakumu Yoduka. Will they arise? Yodu, Yodu, Yodu. Will they praise? Will they put their hands up to say praise and give thanks? Ka to the eye. Will they praise the eye? Yoduka. Im Rephaima Yakumu Yoduka. The real sense of this is that if the dead, if the shades, the departed spirits, the departed shades, right, if they rise up, even if the dead, you know, it's like what when Moshiach gave that parable, because he's talking about Sheol there in the parable of Lazarus, right? The rich man and Lazarus, you know? And when the rich man said, hey, you know what? Even if you can't send Lazarus because there's a big gap between you and me and everything, then why don't you send somebody to my brothers? I got these brothers, so they won't end up here. And then Yeshua explains that, Robeno explains that, he says that that Abraham will say something like, but they have like Moses and the prophets, let them hear them, right? So that they would not even believe if one rise from the dead. This might be what Yeshua was kind of hinting to right here, because the Hebrew breaks down that same sense. Im Rephaim Yakumu. Almost to say like if the Rephaim, the departed spirits, the Rephaim, if they rise, Yoduka, Yoduka, will they praise you? So even if one was sent to them from the dead, like would they believe? They have Moses and the prophets. Here it says, if the Rephaim rise up, the departed spirits rise up, right? If they Yakumu, Yakumu, if they kum, Yakumu, if they rise up, Yoduka, Yoduka, will they praise the eye? So even if they come back, even if the departed ones come back again, is this time they're going to praise Yah? Right? Since like last time they probably didn't praise Yah. Check. Unless Elohim soon answers his prayer, he will be dead and beyond his help. This is the call here, but it's a call here with these two questions. Remember, the two deads are not the same dead, right? One is the Matim, and the next one is the Rapha or the Rephaim. Here brought out in the BDB as the ghost of the dead, what is referred to as the shades, the spirits. I guess some might say the duppies, you know what I'm saying? In this sense, even if their ghosts arise, will their ghosts praise Yah? Right? Will you work wonders for the dead? Elohim's marvelous acts are restricted to the living. The sense of this here is that his wonders, right, are not for the dead. His wonders are for the living, those in the land of the living. This is that we show wonders, right? We show wonders. Halamitim ta'aseh pedle. Will you do? Not shoe, but will you asa? Ta'aseh. Will you do? Will you make? Will you perform wonders for the dead? Right? The shades. Rephaim. Literally the weak, the helpless ones. The Rapha one. Rephaim. Here bring out a sense of the shades. The powerless dead. Will they give thanks? Yodu ka. Will they thank the I male? That is man's prerogative. When man lives, that's what it says, while I have breath, while I have life, right? Will they praise Yodu ka? Only when he is living. As it says in Psalm 115, round about verse 16, verse 17, the dead praise not. Right? The dead praise not Yahweh. The dead don't praise. So praise while you live. Don't worry about it after. Yod Aleph, the Yod Aleph verse right here, the 11th verse right here, here. Today's daily psalm. Shall, he goes on with these questions. These are the questions mentioned earlier. Questions. Shall thy loving kindness be declared in the grave, or thy faithfulness in destruction? Now here we have the kever again, proper word for grave, yes? Haya supar, hay supara bakeber, hay supara bakeber. Is it to be declared in the kever? Chasedeka, your chesed, your loving kindness. Haya supara bakeber chasedeka. Emunateka, and your faith, your faithfulness. Emunateka ba Abaddon, in Abaddon. Here's the word destruction is the Abaddon. And people talk about Abaddon. Oh, in Revelation it says, and this angel, the bottomless pit, he is called Abaddon, right? In Revelation. Well, Abaddon, here's your Abaddon in Hebrew, translated as destruction, right? Or thy faithfulness in Abaddon, thy faithfulness in destruction. Haya supara ba chasedeka emunateka Abaddon. In Abaddon, well, Abaddon, let me just break down the Abaddon. Abaddon, right, comes from the word Abad. Abad means to perish, to like, it really means to get lost, like to wander away and get lost, to lose yourself, to be like to get lost in that sense. And the idea is if you get lost and lose yourself, well, you perish, you're destroyed. So Abaddon is a sense of like the lostness, perishing, like you lost yourself, right? Therefore, the place of destruction, the place of losing yourself is a place of perishing, right? Once again, to the root word is abad, right? To perish, vanish, to be exterminated. But you see the third entry there, to be lost, to stray. Lost sheep of the house of Israel. Well, the lost, if there's a place, that place is Abaddon, right? So here it is saying, Haya supar. Will it be safar, to be recounted? Bakeber, in the keber, in the grave. Chasedeka, your loving kindness. Emunateka, and your emuna, your firmness, fidelity, steadfastness. This word often is translated as faith, but it actually means firmness, security, fidelity, always faithful, from emun, faithfulness, trusting, truthfulness, truthful, established, truthworthy, trustworthiness, your faithfulness. Shall your faithfulness be, declared in a place where people don't know themselves, where they lost themselves? Kind of interesting when you think about the lost sheep. Here, two attributes: mercy and faithfulness. Chesed and emuna, right? The two here, chesed, right, and emuna, faithfulness, right? These are divine attributes. These are the two divine attributes of Yahweh. We have Psalm 89 and 1. Can only be experienced by a living man, right? The chesed, his loving kindness, right? And his emuna, his faith, his faithfulness, his credit worthiness can only be experienced by living men. And they alone are able, therefore, from experiencing these two attributes, his chesed, loving kindness, his emuna, right? Will they be able to praise Yahweh for having received Kabbalah, having received them, right? That's why I ask, shall thy faithfulness be declared in the grave? Shall thy loving kindness, shall thy loving kindness be declared in the grave, right? Shall it be declared in the grave? Hayasupara bakeber hasedeka, thy faithfulness, emunateka, ba'avadon, in Abaddon, right? In Abaddon, right? Here we have the Hebrew Abaddon, the place of being lost, the place of perishing, the place of wandering and losing yourself, right? This is also another name, said to be another name or aspect of Sheol, of the Sheol, right? The Hebrew Hades, the Hebrew Duat, right here, to the Yod Beit verse right here, just to fulfill this right here. He goes on, there's more questions, right? Shall thy wonders be known in the dark, and thy righteousness in the land of forgetfulness? Haya Yewada, Hayawada ba Hosheka Pilaeka, where Sidakateka be Eretza Nishia, the Eretza Nishia, the Eretz Nishia. What is the Eretz Nishia? Eretz, the land of Nishia, Nishia, the land of forgetfulness, Nishia. Now I know some will see the Yah at the end and try to fit Yah in it, but this is what it means. It said, don't lift up the name of he who be in vain. All right. That's why I point out the first and second and the main places in the context of the name Yah. I think that our people, because they rediscover it now, they are overusing it and they are reading it into things that's not there. Nishia, forgetfulness, oblivion. It's the ah at the end, the ah, not the Yah. It's Nishi. Nishi'ah. So I'm just saying that don't try to read Yah in it, but some are going to do what they're going to do. But Nishi'ah, right, is forgetfulness. Forget about it. Oblivion from Nasha to forget. Nasha. Here we have Nishi'ah, right? Nishi'ah means forgetfulness, the sense of oblivion. In a land of oblivion, in a land of forgetfulness, right? Show thy wonders, going on about the wonders. Higher. Hayawadea, Hayawadea, Yada, to be known, right? To be known. It's in the, what sense is it? It's the, what's the pual sense? Yawada, or the Nephil brings it out, to be known, to be revealed, to be perceived, right? To be known, right? Will it be known? Yawadea, right? Can you make acquaintance? Can you get to know it? Right? Ba Choshek, right? Choshek, right? Choshek, where? In the dark. Choshek, word for dark, darkness. Choshek, right? Light shineth in the Choshek, but the Choshek does not comprehend. Haya Yuwadea, Hayuwada ba Chosheka Pileka, your Pele, right? Your marvels, your wonders, your extraordinary things. With Ikateka, and your charity, your righteous giving, right choice, righteous giving. Sikateka be'eretz nishia. Here, he says, the dark, Choshek, Sheol, the home of darkness. Here, pointing to verse 6, verse 7. The land of forgetfulness, Eretz Nishia. What is the Eretz Nishia? It's another description for Sheol, for hell, or Sheol, the Hebrew hell, where one forgets and is forgotten. The land where one forgets and is therefore forgotten. Here, looking at the time, let's push this forward right here. Here we have the last section here, right? Verses 13 to 18, Chabarim, Yod Gimel, but to thee, right? But to thee have I cried, O Yahuwah, and in the morning shall my prayer prevent me. Something about that old King James translation, right? Some places it's right on, some places it's right off. This is a verse where it's right off. Let me first bring out the Hebrew. Wa'ani elek, Wa'ani eleka, Wa'ani eleka, Yahuwah, Shia wa'iti, Shuaiti Yahuwah ba Bokera Tifalati, Tikadmeka. So here it says, the KJV says, but unto thee have I cried. False. It's wa'ani, and I. Wa'ani, va'ani, wa'ani. In fact, here I have to say ISV is more correct. As for me, as for I. So remember these questions, he's asking these questions before, right? These questions. Now, after asking these questions, here we're at the section, verses 13 to 18, KJV wise, where he resumes his prayer. After these questions come out, right? These open kind of questions. At the end, here to another section, the prayer, he says, Wa'ani, Wa'ani, and I, and as for I. So those questions being what they are, but as for I, Eleka, to the eye. As for I. So all the questions he was asking before, the questions like, will thou work wonders for the dead, or shall the shades arise and give thee thanks? Selah. Shall thy mercy be declared in the grave, thy faithfulness in destruction and Abaddon? Shall thy wonders be known in the dark, the Hoshek, and thy righteousness, thy charity in the land of forgetfulness, in the Eretz Nashia? Wa'ani, as for I. On the other hand, as for I, Eleka Yahuwah, to the eye, O he who be, Shawaiti, Shawti, Shawaiti, Shiwaiti, Shawti, my shout, Shawaiti, my shouti, from Shawa, my to cry out, my shout out, my shout to be free, right? That my shout for help, for freeness, Shawati, right? Shiwaiti. My shout is to the eye, right? In other words, like my shout out, he's going to give Yah. His shout out is to Yahuwah. Wa'ani eleka, Yahuwah, Shiwaiti. U Baboker, and in the boker, in the morning, the dawning, the boker. U Baboker tifilati, my prayer, my tefillah, my tefillah, my prayer, tikadmeka. Now, overstand this here. You see what it says, and in the morning, KJV, shall my prayer prevent thee? What the prevent? If we use the word prevent, it's like, don't prevent me, or you prevent me. Here, shall my prayer prevent thee from what? Now, if we don't study it, we'll get the wrong impression how we use the word prevent today. The word prevent is kadam, the kadam, like kadamawi, kadam. Kadam means to meet, right? To meet, to be in front of, to go before, kadam. To meet also in the sense of to confront, to meet, to receive, to go before, right? To lead, right? To be beforehand, kadam. The root there, kadam, right? Kadamawi, here. He says right here, Tikadameka, right? He says, Uba Boker, and in the morning, Tifalati, may my prayer in the morning meet you. May my prayer meet you in the morning, right? Come in front of you, like almost may my prayer confront you. May my prayer project, the Kadam project, to project oneself, proceed, right? Anticipate, hasten to meet, right? To meet, usually for help, to meet. Tikadameka, Ubabokar, right? Tifalatia, Tikadameka. Tikadameka, Kadam, Tikadameka. May she, my prayer, may she meet you in the morning. So he says, as for I, after all the questions, he says, as for I, to the I, Shawati, my shout out is to the I, Yahweh, in the morning, right? May my prayer, may she meet you in the morning, right? Almost like early in the morning, come out to meet you. So he says, Wa'ani, as for I, unlike the dead, unlike the Matim, unlike the Rephaim, the Raphas and the mates, the mate team, the dead ones and the shades, unlike the dead who are incapable of praying, whether they are living dead or they're dead, right? Either living dead or dead, right? They are incapable of praying and praising, right? He, right? I and we still has the breath of life, right? Within him, within I. So he and I must persist in I supplication. That's why he says, Uba Boker, he says, Wa'ani, and I, Eleka, to the I, Yahweh, he who be, Shiwati, my shout out, is to thee, right? Uba boker, and in the dawning, tefillati, my prayer, tikadameka, may she meet thee. In the morning, ba boker, as soon as he awakes from sleep, rises up, as Psalm 5, round about verse 3, verse 4 speaks, may my prayer, may she meet thee. Right here to verse Yo dilate, this final section here, the prayer renewed. Yahweh, why casteth off my soul? Hidest thou thy face from me? You say, Yahweh, why castest off my soul, my psyche? Hidest thou your face, your presence, your perception from me? Are you hiding your face from me? It's interesting right here when we see in the scripts, the freeness that the saints and that the faithful had to speak to Yahweh, not like the pastors and preachers and some false ones teach, right? He's acting, hidest thou, can you imagine? Yahweh, why you cast me off my soul, my psyche? Are you hiding your face from me? What response do you expect? Lama Yahweh tizbach nafshi Tasatir paneka mimeni. Tasatir paneka mimeni. Are you hiding paneka mimeni from Ani? Lama, for what, Yahweh? For what? Lama, for what, Yahweh? Tizba, tiznach. Slicha, tiznach, right from Zanach. Have you rejected, spurned, rejected to forcefully cast someone off, like someone becoming stink to you. You forsake them. You're like, yo, get away from me. Lama Yahweh tiznach nafshi. Why have you cast off nafshi, my soul, my psyche? Tastir, and you hiding. Paneka, your face. Mimeni, from Ani, from I. Here, my soul, in this sense, my soul, my psyche, she equals me, my soul. Hidest thou thy face, tastir paneka. We have this also in Psalm 13, round about verse 1, right there. Here, to the 8th Vav, here, the 15th verse right here. I afflicted, ready to die, from youth up. I suffer thy terrors. I am distracted. Here. Oni, ani, afflicted, ani, afflicted, ani, afflicted I am. With Goea, Goea. I'm ready to gawa. I'm ready to die, to expire. This word gawa is like usually when they say he gave up the ghost, like we read in the scripts that he gave up the ghost. Modern Hebrew, they'll say gava. Ancient pointing, gawa. It's like the last breath. It's only when they say the last breath, in a sense, to let out the breath. It's like the expiration of breath without another inhalation. That's the gawa sense. This word gawa is like the expiration without an inhalation. Yeah. So this is like to give up the ghost, to yield the ghost right here. So he says, ani, we goea, vigovea, we goea, mia goar, na satia, emeka, afuna. Here, these words. Here he says, I'm afflicted, right? I myself, and to die, right? To give up the breath, right? He says, me noar, from my youth. He's saying that he was ready to die from his youth, right? Since I was small, right? He says, me noar, the noar, youth, right? Like boyhood, early life, noar, right? Me noar, right? Oni ania where gawea, me noar, where gawea, vigavea, me noar, from youth, right? This seems to imply that he was smitten by some sort of disease, right, early in life, perhaps, or had borne it many years, something that brought him close to death from his youth. He goes on to say, I have borne thy terrors. I borne thy terrors, right? I suffer thy terrors, right? Nasati, right? Nasati, I nasa, I lift, I bear, I carry. Nasati, I lift, I bear, I carry. Ameka, Ameka, the Ama. What is Ama? Ama in Hebrew is a word for terror, dread. Ama, fright. It has a sense of fright, actually. Like we use the word fright in English, it has a sense of fright. Concretely, it's an idol, like a bugbear, right? A fright, something frightening. From ayom, ayo, 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 ayom, like terrible, dreadful. Something that frightful, like frightened, to say terrors, right? I have lift up, I carry, I bear. I bear your terrors, right? I bear your terrors. I am distracted. Afuna, right? Fun, right? Afuna. I am perplexed. Afuna, I am distracted. Afuna, I am like to be turned, like instead of being staying on the path, I'm perplexed that it's something that causes me to turn away, right? The afflictions that terrify. I am distracted. The Hebrew root word, it occurs nowhere else. Fun, the word here pointed as fun, right? Puneka, right? Afuna, right? Here. It occurs nowhere else, and its meaning, some say, is somewhat uncertain, that this word doesn't really occur elsewhere, right? So it's by comparison to other Afro-Semitic languages, this idea, translation, is brought out. The sense required by the context is almost like, let me become insensible to my pain, right? So when he says, I am distracted, it's like, let me not feel, let me be desensitized to all this pain I'm going through. Afuna. Almost like, let me get away. Afuna. Right? So here. This one pushes through to the very end here, the eighth Zain right here. Thy fierce wrath goeth over me. Thy terrors, another word, terrors. Notice this is a different terror here. Right? Be'utim. Right? Be'utim. The Be'utim have cut me off. The Be'utim. Alaya abrua haroneka bia uteka sima tutuni sima tutuni. What a use of the Hebrew here. Alai abrua haroneka bia uteka sima tutuni. Thy fierce wrath goeth over. Thy fierce wrath goeth over me. Alai abrua haroneka. Thy terrors have cut me off. Bi uteka simatutuni. Have cut I off. Let's look at the word cut off. Samat, to put an end. Samat has destroyed me. Simatutuni. In an intensive sense, right? They are destroying me. Thy fierce wrath, right? Thy fierce wrath, right here. Thy charon, thy charon, right here. Thy charon, right? Alai abrua charoneka, right? What do we have here? The Hebrew is plural, the plural sense. Thy streams of fiery wrath, abru, they cross over. Abar, the root of Hebrew. Abru, they pass over. They cross over. They have gone over, the sense of they have overwhelmed me. We have it in other Psalms, like Psalm 42 and 7, 42 and 8. And it's quoted right on verse 8 here. Thy terrors, a different word for terrors than in the previous verse, though in King James they use the same word in the English. Be utim, Bi'utim, terrors, alarms. This is usually occasioned by Elohim, right? Terrors, alarm, right? From Ba'at, 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 the verb here to terrify, to startle, like something shocks you, like it startles you, right here. These are these terrors, where he says, Bi'uteka, your terrors, Sima tutuni. They have cut me off. They're cutting me off. Thine alarming, overwhelming deeds. It's not the same Hebrew word as in the previous verse for terrors. This word only again, right? This word for terror, right? Be utim, only occurs in Job chapter 6, round about verse 4. Have cut me off. Sima tuni, right? Have cut I off, have made an end of me. Here to the 17th verse, the Yod Zayn verse, right? They came round about me daily like water. They compass me about together, right? Daily, all the day long, right? Sabuni kamayima kol hayoma hikifu alaya yachad. Hikifu alaya yachad. Here, round about me. Sabu, they sabab, they go round about, circle around, ani. Sabu ni, ka, like mayim, like water, ka mayim. Sabu ni ka mayim, call hayom, call all hayom, all the day, hikifu, right? To knock off, strike off, or to go around, to encompass, right? To strike off or to knock together. That is to surround or circulate, right? Hikifu alai, upon I, against I, yachad. Yachad is together. Yachad in unison, unitedness, all together. What do we have here? Like water, kamayim. He is sinking under Elohim's wrathful visitations, like a man drowning in water. Basically, the idea here in the spirit of the Hebrew sense, right? Sabuni kamayim kol hayom. Hikfu ala yachad. He's saying that I'm sinking under Elohim's wrathful visitations, just like a man drowning in water. Kol hayom, all the day. Saying that suffering is continually, almost without any respite. Here to the Yod Chet verse right here, the final verse right here. And this is how it concludes. That's why it says probably one of the gloomiest of the Psalms. So he said, let's just get this out the way. You know what I mean? Come up out of this by dealing with it. Lover and friend hast thou put far from me. Mine acquaintance into darkness. Now, usually Psalms, have the ups and downs, and then usually maybe it's a down and then comes up at the end. It's a hopeful, right? But here's how this one right here, right? Hirachakta mimeni oheba we re'a me yudaya machshak. What a just, wow. Here, lover and friend. But he says, thou hast put far. Here hakta. You have put far. You have rahak, right? In the hefil sense, right? To remove. Here hakta. You have made distant. You have put far away. Here hakta. Speaking to Yahuwah, saying, you, the I, me, mani, from me. Who? Ohev, lover, right? Lover, Ohev, Wa, and Raya. So you put far away from me both Ohev and Reya, Ohev Vareya, Ohev Vareya, right? Ohev Vareya, friend and lover and Reya. Here's Reya, Reya, right? Reya, friend, companion, right? And lover, you have put far from me. Me you die. Acquaintance, one who know me, mine acquaintance, the one who know I, who yada, right? Me yudai, machshak, darkness, machshak, a dark place. Friend and companion, Oheb wa Re'ah, to whom he had a right to look for help. Don't you think? A friend and companion in his desperate plight. He repeats his complaint, right, of verse 7, right, as he ends his tale of woe is I. A similar lament was made by Job, in the time of his suffering. Namely, when you compare this here, Job chapter 19, verse 13, right? Put far from me, put far from I. Hirchakta. In consequence of the ravages, some say and interpret, of his disease, his condition, he is avoided by his friends, as he mentions also in verse 8, right? And mine acquaintance, may you die, my acquaintance into darkness. Well, the words into are not even there. It just says my acquaintance, may you die, right? May you die, machshak, darkness, dark place. My acquaintance, dark place, darkness. My intimate friends, darkness. It's dark, you know what I mean? No light. Abandoned by all, he is solitary, bahitawi, right? And has only his dark surroundings to associate with. So ends this pathetic story, this narrative here, this Psalm 88 of agony, without any expression of hope. Nevertheless, although the note of hopefulness is not struck in the concluding verse, as elsewhere in other Psalms, it may be implied in the conviction that pervades the psalm that the sufferer is all the time still in the hands of Yahweh Elohim. If he smote, he can and may heal. And this is why the key of the psalm is that first verse, Yahweh Elohei Yeshuati, O he who be, the God, the almighty power of my salvation, of my preservation. Hear, today's daily psalm, a call, a cry from the depths.
מזמור פ"ח, שיר מזמור לבני קורח, למנצח על מחלת לענות, משכיל להימן האזרחי. אדוני אלוהי ישועתי, יום צעקתי ולילה נגדך. תבוא לפניך תפילתי, הטה אוזנך לרינתי. כי שבעה ורעות נפשי, וחיי לשאול הגיעו. נחשבתי עם יורדבור, הייתי כגבר אין אייל. במתים חופשי, כמו חללים שוכבי קבר, אשר לא זכרתם עוד. והמה מידך נגזר. שתני בבור תחתיות, במחשכים במצולות, עלי שמחה חמתך. וכל משבריך עינית סלע, הרחקת מיודעי ממני, שתני תועבות למו, כלו ולא אצא. עיני דאבה מניעוני, קראתיך אדוני בכל יום, שיטחתי אליך כפיי. הלמתים תעשה פלא, אם רפאים יקומו יודוך סלע. היסופר בקבר חסדך, אמונתך באבדון. היוודע בחושך פלאיך, וצדקתך בארץ נשייה. ואני אליך אדוני שיוועתי, ובבוקר תפילתי תקדמך. למה אדוני תזנח נפשי, תסתיר פניך ממני? אני וגובע מנוער, נשאתי אמך אפונה. עלי עברו חרוניך, ביעותיך צימתתוני. סבוני חמים כל היום, הקיפו עלי יחד. הרחקת ממני אוהב ורע, מיודעי מחשך.
Yes, yes, yes. English, the English. Right here. Oh. That was the Ivrit, the Hebrew right here. English. Yes. Oh, being heard. Heard the sound went out. Got a message, the sound went out. Oh, you heard? Okay. Yeah, the sound went out. A little technical right there. Just once again from the top. Oh, all right. So yeah, we're hearing that there's no sound. Yeah, there's no sound right there. I don't know why the sound is not playing right here. Maybe I have to refresh my window. Right here. So you know what? Right here, ones who are here, if you can stay tuned. Let's just refresh for the first day service right here. Hopefully we get a better, we have to just restart. Sometimes, technology is like this right here. We'll pick up right here for the first day service directly with the Torah reading and feeding right here at the first day. Yitro, Jethro. Yes, 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 yes. Because there's no sound on the board. So if there's no sound on the board, I have to refresh anyway. So brothers and sisters and brothers, if you can just join I, hopefully it's not too late for the I, them. Yes. Refresh, refresh, refresh. Right here, here, here. Let's just try one more audible and see if this is this heard? Yeah. Okay, that's heard right there. Okay. Yeah, refresh the page. Let's see right here. Okay, the music played right there. Don't know what happened right there. Yeah. Okay, let's see right here. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, so we'll refresh. So you didn't hear that part, right? No. Wow, that's interesting. That's really, really. It's almost like the mystery dub. We play that and it doesn't play. We hear it over here, but you don't hear it there. Okay, we're gonna refresh right here for the first day service. Please join us if you can. Just refresh. Give us 2-3 minutes, hopefully. Yes, I Rastafari.